Holly Leslie Gabriel, who knows as much about Washington volleyball as anybody in the universe, part of 634 wins as a player, assistant, and head coach with this program. Before we started, we were just talking about it. When you're at a great place and you enjoy everything about it, why would you go anywhere else?
That's exactly it. You know, even when I was a student athlete there, I loved my time there. You know, it's about the people and how they treated student athletes. And so when Jim McLaughlin asked me to come back, it was a no-brainer because I wanted to get into coaching too. And like I told you, when you're surrounded by great people, you're learning and you're helping these young women, there's no other place I'd want to be than here.
As someone who is so much of the fabric of what Washington volleyball is, what does it feel like to be the head coach of the program as it ushers in a brand new era?
It's exciting, you know. This is the conference I wanted to be in if the Pac-12 was going to be no longer. And to do that with the group of women that we have, we're super excited and honored to be a part of this.
What's this experience been like so far for you and the players? I know we've been doing Big Ten Volleyball Media Days for a couple of years, but this is obviously your first chance to come and visit us.
It's been great. The day that they have put together for our players, you know, to see the sparkle in their eye, they feel special, you know, and they deserve this attention. They work so hard, both in the classroom and on the court, and they get to, I think it's great that they get to share their story on how they got here and why they're having the success that they're having.
Now, coaches I've spoken to so far have been split about 50-50 on this as to whether they are joining the TikTok videos with their players or they're staying out of the way. Where did you stand on that?
You know, I joined them in. I told them I would do at least one with them, and they kept my move really simple, which is the thing I told them. I was like, if we're going to do it, keep it simple for me so I can stay in rhythm.
See, but then you do that, then you're getting some extra coach points. You know now you can cash in on those later in the year during practice.
Exactly.
Smart move on your part. What's it been like for you as a former player to watch the growth and popularity of this sport, not just within your own program, but also to watch it from afar, spreading from the West Coast to the Midwest to the East Coast, and to see where it is now compared to where it was when you played at Washington in the late 90s?
Yeah, it's been awesome, I'll just tell you. And I know that there's still room for it to grow, but just to see the excitement for our sport, you know, obviously what Nebraska was able to do last year, and to have that viewership, and then most importantly to get people talking. You know, USA Volleyball winning a medal gave more people to talk about it, and got more people watching, and got all these young players wanting to try this sport that maybe they've known about and they want to continue to get better, but maybe it's something new. You know, I have a daughter that is 10, and within this last year, her love for the game has grown, and so this year I think we're going to give it a try, you know, and so I love what, I love the growth that's going on, and it's deserved.
I think it may be 6 or 7 years before your daughter's ready to go into a recruiting cycle. But for you, how much have you seen recruiting for you and for this sport nationally change with that growth and popularity, especially at the youth levels?
You know, it's been great. One thing that caught my attention this year when I was out in the club levels is just the level of play at the young ages. You know, I went down and watched some 14s and 15s, and I'm like, wow, there's a tall girl. And before, my notes would be like, tall, keep an eye on, you know, because maybe they weren't skilled enough to do it. And now we're getting some really good coaching down at the younger levels where girls can now do a lot of different things. And it's just helping our sport grow, and which is exciting.
How much are you and your student athletes looking forward to the opportunity to travel to cities that maybe some of them have never been to before and play in some of the best volleyball venues in the country that I'm guessing most of them have never played inside before?
Yeah, you know, it's exciting. You know, as a coach, there are certain venues around the country that you want to get your team in because they bring a great crowd, a great environment. And the Big Ten, let me tell you, each institution here, they have great fan support. And so it'll be fun. We were talking, I was talking with the girls since we've come out to Chicago, and one of them has never been to Chicago before. So just to bring them here for this event is a big deal. But you're right, to go into these cities and universities and to give our players this opportunity to see is a big deal.
Yeah, early October, you'll take a road trip to Madison, I believe, get to play against Wisconsin, one of the great venues and obviously one of the great teams in this sport. Though travel will be more logistically challenging for your program, the other 3 West Coast programs, than for the 14 schools that were in this conference before August 2nd. They only have to make one weekend trip west. You guys have to make a bunch more. How do you try to offset that with the players, knowing how difficult Washington is as an academic school as well, and they're trying to balance both?
Yeah. You know, at the University of Washington, we want players who want to be great in both, you know, and we've been very lucky that school is important to our players. And so they really make sure that, you know, when they have time to study, they're studying. And so they're, you know, studying on the airplanes, in the airports, and so they're making the most of their time. We also have a great academic support system at our school, who's there and provide great resources for our student athletes. But you're right, travel is something that we have to think about. And I think the only way that we get through it is we talk a lot about control the controllables in our gym, you know, and we don't have control where we have to go, what time we have to play, but we have total control on how we want to look at it, how we want to think about the situations. And I think if we can control those things, then we'll be ready. You know, maybe our routines will be different than what we're used to, but you got to be flexible. You know, we're in one of the greatest conferences, and we should be fired up to play against the best every single night.
The only constant right now is change, so I think every coach, every player has to be flexible because we're changing day by day. There's absolutely no question about that. Some Big Ten fans maybe have not seen Washington volleyball a lot. So when your team is playing at its best, from a stylistic standpoint, what will viewers see in terms of pace, in terms of what you want to do both offensively and defensively?
We want to be fast to the pins and get good swings in the middle. You know, we want to run a more balanced offense than what we were last year, you know. And then defensively, we want to be able to slow down our opponents, and with both our block and our floor defense. And so, you know, hopefully those are 2 things that they see when they watch us play.
All right, let's talk about a couple of your players, the player reps that you brought here to Chicago this week. Emoni Bush, one of your player reps, all Pac-12 2 seasons ago, but missed last year, I believe, with shoulder surgery. So how much of a difference can a healthy Emoni make for your team in 2024? A
big difference. You know, we definitely missed her last year, but, you know, she brings a lot to the court, you know, not only from the leadership point, but she helps scores a ton of points, both at the net with her blocking and her attacking, you know, but also with her serve. You know, this past summer, you know, she showed Team Canada and the tournament that she went to that she's a force to be reckoned with at the service line, too.
Yeah, we're watching some of her highlights right now. What do you think about all the skills that she possesses? What's most impressive?
You know, just her attacking. I think one thing that, you know, we've been trying to work on this spring is just expanding our range, you know, and that's something that she was able to do this spring, is to hit shots and go for it. And that's one thing I love about Emoni. She's not afraid to go for it. And that's what I'm excited to see back on the court.
All right, 5th year, Madi Endsley, also with you, has a career year on the offensive end, led your team in kills per set. What makes her effective at that outside position? You look inside the Big Ten at some of the outsides that have been in this league the last couple of years, obviously as good as there is in the country.
The girl is competitive as heck. No one's going to stop her. It doesn't matter that she's maybe the shortest out of all. She's going to find a way to win. And I think that's one thing that has helped her be successful. She's a student of the game. You come to our practices, she's the first one to come in, the last one to leave. She loves the game, and she puts in a lot of time, and that's what's helped her be successful.
When Big Ten volleyball fans are getting their first couple of glances at Washington, how about some other names that you will need to be impact players for your program this year to have success?
You know, one thing we did, our staff did this spring, is we wanted to increase our depth, you know, and we wanted to bring more pin hitters, more middles, more setters, so that there's competition at every single position, you know. And so I'm excited to see what this competition does, you know, with our group of players. You know, we have Audra Wilmus, who had good gains last year for us offensively, and I'm really excited about some of the freshmen that we have coming in. You know, we're bringing in 3 freshmen. Julia Hunt, she's from Kentucky. She was Miss Kentucky. And she's someone that has a good arm that can come in and compete right away. Alexis Hari is a setter from Oregon. And someone that's just a true competitor at heart. And then Addie Benefield is a late add for us, and she's just an explosive player. And so I think for us, I'm excited to see what happens, But as far as, some other players, Lauren Bays, our libero, is someone that has been a real big force for us on our backcourt passing. And then Molly Wilson. She played last year for the first year as a setter for us and just has continued to grow as a leader and a setter for us. So there's a lot of players that I think can step up and help us going into next year.
Need a lot of depth, certainly, to get through the league schedule that you'll face.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on your non-con, though. I think it's interesting you stay almost exclusively out west for your non-conference. You have a tournament in Boulder. You have a tournament in Bozeman. I think you have a road match in Corvallis. You play a couple in Long Beach. So how intentional was that, kind of knowing what you have in the Big Ten and the additional travel? And is that something that becomes something of a standard in the future when you schedule to the non-conference?
Yeah, it was very intentional. Like you have mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of travel in season. And so we were very mindful about where we wanted to go. Obviously you got to pay attention to who you're playing because you want to get ready for conference. That's what you use preseason for. And we felt the teams that we have on our schedule will help us do that, and we didn't have to travel far to do that.
So what's the biggest focus for you? There's not a lot of time between now and that opening weekend. You want to get what accomplished between now and then?
Just figuring out who our starting lineup will be. Like I said, we have a lot of work to do to figure out how to make all this puzzle work, and so it'll just be seeing how that plays out so that we're ready when Big Ten starts.
Let's finish here. How do you describe your excitement level right now? We kind of consider this the unofficial start of Big Ten volleyball season. I know it may be a day or two before you're actually in the gym really working, but how excited are you? How excited are the players to stop talking about all this stuff and actually get the ball up in the air?
They're really excited, and they can't wait to get going, and they've expressed it throughout this day. And this is just the start of what this conference is about.
Well, we couldn't be more excited to have you here, Leslie Gabriel. Truly appreciate the time. We look forward to watching you, working with you, and best of luck to you and the Huskies.
Thank you so much.
All right, we discussed a little bit of the schedule with Leslie. Here it is. It's Washington State in the middle of September, a road trip to Madison. We talked about that and how great that venue will be, but an awesome home schedule. I have UCLA at home, Oregon at home. Look in November, Nebraska, a preseason Big Ten and national favorite, making their first trip to Seattle for a conference match. For more from the Huskies, we send it back over once again to Elena and Holly.
Thank you, Rick. Holly and I are back, this time joined by Emoni Bush and Madi Endsley from Washington Volleyball. Welcome to the studio part of Big Ten Media Days. I hope you guys have been having a lot of fun today.
Thank you.
We're so excited to have you as part of this conference. What are you most looking forward to in playing in the Big Ten this season?
Oh, I'm excited to just go to these schools and just see the energy that they bring. I feel like everyone talks about like the Big Ten gyms, like they're electric, they're intense, and I'm so excited to go in and compete in those environments.
Yeah, I'm excited just for there not to be any rest. Every single team in this conference can compete, and I'm just excited for the competition.
Maddie, every season your offensive numbers have improved. How do you do it?
Like Sue was talking about earlier, just time. I spend a lot of time in the offices, recovering from an ankle injury. I spent a lot of time getting a lot of reps jumping, and I'm just super grateful for the help that my coaches have given me throughout my career.
Emoni, you spent some time in the gym for Canada. What was that experience like?
It was awesome. It was great to compete with some girls that have international experience and that are a lot older than me. I think it was also really good to get my footing back with volleyball coming off of a shoulder surgery last year. So I was just trying to get as many touches as possible, and it happened to be in the gym with Canada, which was awesome, and down in the Dominican Republic competing for Canada. So it was a great experience overall.
Your coach talked about you adding to your range. Was that part of coming back from shoulder surgery, working on your shots, or was that something you were going to add anyways?
It's always been a goal of mine to expand my range, but especially after surgery, I feel like anyone with a shoulder surgery can attest to the fact that it feels like a different shoulder when you're coming back. You got to learn how to use it again, and thankfully I've learned how to hit a couple more shots, added a few things to my toolbox, so yeah, it's always been something on my list, but it feels good to finally accomplish it.
A much deeper gym this year. Your coach made sure that you guys had depth at every position so you guys could compete and get pushed. So A side, B side was very competitive. What are you guys looking forward to getting after it in the gym?
We talk a lot about working like a machine, and I think our depth is gonna add to that. And I think we're just gonna push each other to get better every single day. And I can't wait to get in the gym with all of my teammates because we have a great energy going.
Yeah, I mean, as a high-level athlete, a competitive gym is like all you can ask for. It feels fun to go into practice every day. It feels fun to compete with your friends and against your friends. So I'm just excited to get going.
Growing up in Canada, were you familiar with Big Ten volleyball?
No, actually. I didn't know what the Big Ten was until I got to Seattle. So yeah, it feels weird to be here now, but I'm just so blessed to now be in this position and competing for this conference. Yeah, it's awesome.
Can you give us a little bit of a look into your gym right now? What are fans going to expect to see from Washington volleyball this year?
Oh, some dogs. Like some people that are going to go out there every single point and give it their absolute all. People that are scared of nothing and will go for everything. So I think they can look forward to that this next year.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Traditionally, I feel like Washington is a really strong blocking team, serving team. Are those still staples in your program?
Oh, absolutely. With Coach Tui, she brings so much history and culture from Washington. So she's really instilled in us those same values of being a great blocking team, being a great serving team. But we're also looking to add some more skills to that list for us this next year.
For example?
Attacking, passing.
Defense.
I feel like, yeah. We've worked a lot on our passing and our defense just to get it really consistent and at the highest level because Big Ten defense is no joke. So we're looking to be right up there with them.
We've talked a lot with different teams about the stylistic difference between the West Coast teams and the Big Ten teams. What are you looking forward to playing against these existing Big Ten teams?
Honestly, I think their defense challenging our offense and seeing how good we can get against really gritty teams.
Yeah, and going up against those like big physical teams and having to pull out every single tool you got in the toolbox to beat them. So.
Maddie, you mentioned it. This conference, similar to the Pac-12, every single night is going to be a battle. Are there any matches that you're most looking forward to? I know you probably take it one match at a time, but I also was in your shoes once and I had games circled on my calendar. So are there any matches you're most looking forward to or any venues you're most excited to play in?
I feel like for me, it's Penn State. I feel like I've heard about the energy in this gym and the way the Penn State fans show up, so I'm just excited to experience it firsthand.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Nebraska at home and at Wisconsin, but Nebraska at home is going to be gnarly, just like seeing all the purple and red in the crowd is going to be really awesome.
You've both represented the Washington volleyball program for a few years now. What does it mean to you to be able to not just be a Washington volleyball player, but also a Washington student athlete and just get to wear that W on your chest?
Just so much gratitude, honestly.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, when you're a student athlete at UW, it means you want to perform at the highest level in the classroom and on the court or the field or whatever you're doing. So to be able to have done that for the past 3 years, it feels, yeah, I'm really thankful for the opportunity, and it also feels like I'm just so proud of myself for making it through. So yeah.
You guys work hard on the court and in the classroom. What do you guys do to unplug as a team and off the court?
We like to go to the lake a lot. You know, we're not too far from Lake Washington, and it's great weather right now. Summer's really been giving us what we need with the sun. So yeah, we've just been enjoying the lake together.
What do you do on the lake?
We go out on boats, we go out on floaties, we swim, you know, whatever's available to us that day.
Whenever the weather's nice, you got to get outside because it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Let me know next time you're doing a lake day. I'll make my way to Washington
Yeah, we'll hit
because
you
that
up.
sounds like fun. I'll bring a floaty. We'll be good.
Perfect.
Give us a little bit of insight too, just on your team culture as people. Like, we love watching you as volleyball players, but what does Washington volleyball team look like as people off the court?
Yeah, we always talk about it's bigger than ourselves. We play for the W. And I think that just means every single thing we do on the court, off the court, is for a greater purpose. It's for our school, it's for our fans, it's for our coaches, it's for every single person that pours any bit of time and effort into our program. So I think that's a really big thing. We're all very selfless people and we come authentically ourselves and we play for a bigger cause, which is amazing.
Yeah, adding on to that, just the way that we care about each other is really special. There's not a day where I go into the gym and like even if I'm slightly off, someone's asking me what's going on, if I need to talk, supporting me. And it's just the uplifting that I really look forward to every day and I appreciate.
Washington has such a great volleyball tradition. How are you guys going to look to the new Big Ten fans who are going to see you for the first time?
I just hope that we come authentically ourselves. I think that's going to be a really big goal of ours, to just keep the Washington tradition going and not let the fact that we're in another conference kind of alter that, and just stay true to who we are.
Yeah, continue playing the Washington way.
Are there any pillars or mottos in your gym that you guys go in, maybe have it written on the whiteboard or in the locker room, or anything that, like, this is what Washington volleyball is?
Oh, we have a list.
Okay.
But one that I think of a lot is every play, every day. It's in our locker room. I think teams, generations before us, have been using, we call it EPED. And yeah, I just think it really speaks true to like what we're trying to accomplish at Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. We talk about it every drill, every practice. Like, we're here to give it our all every single play, every day.
And what did you guys learn from last season, heading into this new season in a new conference, kind of a new look program? What's your main focus heading into this season?
Yeah, I feel like for me, not being able to play, I've learned a lot about just sort of the mental side of volleyball, like staying calm, being present, and really having gratitude every day that I'm able to step on the court and play the sport that I love. So I'm going to take that into next season.
Yeah, I would say just not leaving anything behind. It's my last season. Short time, 5 years seems like a lot, but it goes by really quick. So I'm just really excited to be really present and like really appreciate where I'm at.
Well, Emoni, Madi, thank you so much for your time. This has been so much fun getting to know you both. Can't wait to see you on the court this year.
Thank you guys so much.